Hello everyone, welcome to our 58th principle in 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself. I'm Walt, here we are doing one of my famous walk and talks. And today's topic with part 58 is a pretty simple one, and this one is to replace your habits. Now, the reason that we have this principle of replacing habits is because so many people try to get rid of their bad habits. So Steve Chandler goes into all the problems of trying to get rid of your bad habits because they're there simply for good reasons. And this is very true, okay? It's not something that many people realize, at least with ease. They just think, I got this bad habit of doing this or doing that, and they're almost like mini addictions. Like they can't stop just doing these little habits that are often self-destructive. And so what Steve Chandler gets into here is the idea that our bad habits are actually here for good reasons, okay? See, at a subconscious level, we don't actually think that our bad habits are a problem, okay? We're using them to try to fulfill some need. And so what he says is you can't get rid of that, because what you would be doing is saying, oh, I don't need that, even though subconsciously you have a need for it. And so what he recommends instead is habit replacement. He goes into this idea of how some people have successfully quit smoking without even trying to, by taking up doing things like running, and that the breathing is something that is different and replaces it. Now, I'm a little skeptical about that one based on just the fact that nicotine is one of the world's most addictive drugs, and that most people who try to quit smoking are not going to be successful at it. And of course, habit replacement is more effective, but just when you get into just brain chemistry, it's kind of hard to make claims exactly about what you can do there. Now, regardless of that situation, it's when it comes to habit replacement, one of the biggest things I'm reminded of comes down to the book Trading in the Zone, just because I've read that when it comes to doing stuff with trading better. And Trading in the Zone kind of gets at a pretty interesting idea that we can replace a lot of our bad habits kind of component by draining the energy out of them and putting them into something else. So we can transform our bad habits into good and useful habits simply by thinking a little bit differently about them. So whenever we have a habit we don't like, okay, all we need to do is figure out what the need is. What kind of need are we fulfilling with this habit? A lot of people have nervous things they'll do, like biting their fingernails, or needing to chew on something, or doing things like that. And one of the reasons for this is it's an anxiety relieving technique. So that person learning to use a stress ball instead can be huge, because it gets them to relieve their anxiety still, and without, pulling out their hair or chewing on their pen or their fingers or whatever, okay? Now that's one example of habit replacement. There are obviously a million different kinds of habits that are bad for us that we tend to do anyway because we have a need to relieve our anxiety, or to achieve this or to achieve that. Little addictions that can just get to us. So if you haven't heard my Dr. Wayne Dyer material specifically on addictions, then definitely check that out. But anywho, that's about it for getting rid of our bad habits. You can get rid of your bad habits, replace them with good habits, and this can be pretty easy to do. Because once you figure out what the need is, then you can make a massive difference in changing your habit and getting something you really want. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Walt, I'll see you guys next time with part 59. So stay tuned. I'll see you then.